On numbers 24 and 25, you're using this figure over here on the right. You're missing some information that's really important for this problem. You're supposed to be told that segment OP is parallel to segment NQ. Given this key piece of information, I now know that I have similar triangles. This small triangle, which is triangle NQM, is similar to this large triangle OPM. And the reason why I know they're similar, remember we just have 3 shortcuts for similarity. This one that we would use is AA. Since these sides are parallel, then this side would be a transversal, creating corresponding angles that are congruent right here. We would also know if this is the transversal that these corresponding angles are congruent. And thirdly, since both of these triangles have angle M, that angle is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. So now that we know we have these similar triangles, remember there's really 6 relationships that we know are true. We know all the corresponding angles are congruent, but we also know the corresponding sides are proportional. So when I'm solving for x in number 24, I have 2 different ways that I could go about doing that. I could use the sides of the triangles to set up my proportion. So I could do a small triangle over large triangle ratio. And so if I look at this side, the small triangle side is 8. The large triangle side is not 4. It is the sum of 4 and 8, which is 12. So I would have 8 over 12 for the left side. I'm going to set up the ratio for the right side in the same way. Small triangle over large triangle. The small triangle side is 10. The large triangle side is the sum of 10 and x. So that would be x plus 10, not 10x. You don't multiply, you add. So when we cross multiply to solve, you'd have to remember to distribute the 8 here. So 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 10 is 80. And then I would set that equal to 10 times 12, which is 120. So now I can solve for x by subtracting 80 from both sides and then dividing by 8 and getting x equals 5. That's not the only way that you could solve. We learned a theorem that says if this side is parallel to this side of the triangle, then this parallel line is splitting this side into proportional parts in the same manner it's splitting this side into proportional parts. And so we talked about how we could set up our proportion as part over part equals part over part. So we could write the parts on this side as 4 over 8. And then you just have to be consistent when you set up the parts on the other side. Since I did top over bottom, I have to write this ratio as x over 10, not 10 over x. When we cross multiply, we're going to get the same exact answer because we have the 8 times the x giving me 8x, 4 times 10, which is 40. Dividing both sides by 8, we get x equals 5. A little bit easier to solve since we don't have to remember to distribute like we did when we did small triangle to large triangle relationships.